So I've known you forever, but I honestly don't know much of your origin story. So I want origin stories here.
Okay.
With the three of you. How did you, because you were young when you started acting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
How did that happen?
And she had a gold brooch on her with Matt and I, little charms. We get off I'll never forget it. That I remember. They ripped it off. My mom was only 5 feet.
Yeah.
They ripped it off, picked her up and threw her in a trash can right in front of me. Yeah. That was our introduction to New York City.
One time he goes in and they're like, you know what? He's gotten a little too big for this. And so their attention...
You're kidding.
Yeah, like Joe's he's grown up a little too much, so they turn their eyes to me and they're like, but this one's
guy.
perfect. I was literally like, he's aging out of things, so let's get the next one in line.
Wait, and then is that the same thing that happened with you?
Kind of.
I remember I was so envious. Like you've always been in such good shape.
I
was
tried,
like, I don't know
man.
how the fuck this dude at 12 has an 8-pack. I remember a video.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Playing touch football on a beach.
Yes.
With the leather jacket and the ripped jeans and the whole thing. And I was like, man, he makes touch football look so attractive. And I mean, you had the opportunity to work with Robin Williams, who is like, he's going to go down as one of the best.
Yeah, he is.
Oldish. The show where age-old questions meet new-age answers. With your hosts, Randy Spelling, Brian Austin Green, and Sharna Burgess.
Welcome to another episode of Oldish. I'm sitting here by myself because I have 3 guests with me, and we, quite frankly, don't have enough space in here.
We don't need anyone else.
For 2 more. So I've known the oldest, they're brothers. I've known the oldest one since we were kids. We were acting together. I've now gotten to spend more time around the younger 2, which is fun. I spent a little time with one. And Lawrence Brothers. Welcome, guys.
Hey. Thanks, man. How are you?
I'm good, dude.
Good, dude.
Yeah, it's
good.
So my baby was sick the past couple days and was just in that like absolutely clingy, wanted to be carried everywhere.
Yep.
And my back is now killing me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like I absolutely feel my age.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, it's the
It
worst.
happens. What happened? Just some gunk from nursery school or the playground or something or what? They're always picking up something.
Yeah, I don't know. I honestly think it was from a trip to Chuck E. Cheese.
Oh, God, I don't do it.
Is that I drove by one not too long ago.
It's shocking when I thought they were all closed down.
still
I had like
rocking,
a
bro.
same
What
birthday
they did
party
is
in there.
they took out all the animatronics.
Now, why is that? Was that because of Five Nights at Freddy's?
I think the cost of having animatronics.
Wow.
Yeah, it's
Did you
a
ever
lot
see
of
Five Nights at
upkeep.
Freddy's? I had to watch that with my middle daughter because it came out last year. It was based off of, it was very popular. Five Nights at Freddy's. It basically is Chuck E. Cheese.
Yeah.
Okay.
And basically you go
So
in
it's
there.
animatronics that kill.
That comes to life at night, and
So
they
What's there now, though? It's just the games?
Now it's a screen, and like they play videos, and Chucky's like a puppet, like
Wow.
like in Muppets. It's a whole thing.
Okay.
And they play tons of like kids bop music and whatever, and then they have all the games, which is great.
right, the skee ball and all
they
the
have
old
a
school
setup
stuff.
too where instead of buying like credits on your card, you buy time for the kids. So you can do like 45 minutes of play or an hour so they can play whatever they want.
Well, that's cool.
As many times as they want. They have an hour to literally go nuts. So
Wait, so you don't get any more of those? Do you get the tickets still?
you do get tickets.
Yes, I used to love getting those tickets, man.
It saves that information on the card.
Got
now.
it.
So when you go up to the counter, you don't have a handful of tickets that you've been like
Smart.
feeding.
I used
in.
to get like a huge bucket of those.
Ball of tickets.
I'd take all my tickets up
Remember
there,
the skee
get whatever
ball?
I wanted.
You hit the center.
Oh, yeah.
You're like, oh yeah, buddy.
There are a couple games now that are like Monopoly kind of things, and you can hit like 50, 100, 150, 250 tickets. and they're just like counting up on your card, and you're like, man, I'm like, my kids will walk out sometimes
Yeah.
with like $5,000 prizes from behind the counter because they just spend all their time
Wait,
just, you know.
What?
Yeah.
I'm going to Chuck E.
Oh, yeah.
Cheese.
They got like, they got PS7s. What?
Is there an age
What's
limit?
out? Is it a 7 that they're on now? 5? What's out right
I
now?
think they're still on
Yeah.
five.
Is there an
Five?
age
Okay.
limit though to this?
To Chuck E. Cheese.
Yeah.
No, there's not.
So like an
And
adult
it's
could
free
go
entry.
in and just crush.
Dude, you can crush it.
Right.
And their pizza is remarkably good.
No, it's not.
It is.
Is it really?
I remember.
Are they
that
a
and that
sponsor of
flat
this show?
cake.
Yes, the
Yes,
flat
the
cakes.
flat
They did.
cake.
The birthday cakes.
Dude, that was like the
Yeah.
only cake I really loved, and that's
It was
why
so
I had my
good.
birthday at Chuck E. Cheese because of the cake.
Chuck E. Cheese had flat cakes, and,
Yeah.
and when Pizza Hut used to have birthday parties at Pizza Hut, you could get flat cakes.
I love that we jumped right into
I
That's
know.
it. That's it.
into Chuck E.
I know.
Cheese and Pizza Hut.
Hey.
and flat-
Dude, well, because
flat
we were
cake
just
and
talking about,
parties.
yeah, because we
No,
were
I
just talking
know.
about a
It's
simpler
so easy to
time.
reminisce and like you
Simpler
start,
time,
yeah,
you know? It
yeah.
just, it really was. I'm so grateful for the simpler times, you know? I really am, because like we were able to, like you were saying right before we came on, you really were able to get escape. You didn't have to worry about, and you were saying you don't have to worry about like being in a moment. You could actually just be a kid. You could literally
Yeah.
watch G.I. Joe or something and not
Now,
have to
how
like.
did so I've known you forever, but I honestly don't know much of your origin story. So I want origin stories here.
Okay.
With the three of you, how did you? Because you were young when you started acting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
How did that happen? And then how did your brothers then become involved, and how did it become a family thing?
Well, I for some reason had an inclination to perform when I was very young, like 2 or 3. So I would be
Singing,
singing,
dancing.
Yep. So
Okay.
there was a Donnie and Marie Osmond show that was on, very popular. I don't remember it, but I remember. My mom said I was obsessed with it,
Okay.
and I would start singing the songs, and they were very family friendly. So it was, they'd sing all the hits, but the family friendly.
They're
stuff.
Mormon, I think, aren't they?
They are. They have
Yeah.
a big, huge,
Yeah.
with a big family, huge
Yeah.
family, and they
Yeah.
are based out of Salt Lake or Utah. Yeah, but anyway, I didn't know. I just knew about Donnie Marie. They had. I'm a little bit rock and roll. I'm a little bit country. You know, like whatever. I don't even remember the song really, but that was what I loved. So I started to emulate the singing, and I actually could sing. And my mom was like, "This is crazy," and I said, "I want to be in there. I want to be in there. I want to be in there. I want to be in there."
By
So-
in there, you
referring
meant
to the
TV.
television.
Right.
I want to be in the TV. I wanna be
in that
the TV. I
TV.
wanna be in
So
the
if you
TV.
could knock out the screen on the front,
Right, get in
just
there.
shove me in the box.
Yep.
I'll feel
Exactly
right
right.
at home.
So anyway, long story short, we were in a mall and they were doing free headshots.
Was it the Willow Grove Mall,
No,
Abington?
it was
Wait,
another.
like Sears headshots,
Kind of
you
like
had
that.
The paper backdrop,
Correct.
and it was
Yeah.
like you profile, and
Right,
like
right.
like
They were
would
giving away
press on a
free
coin?
headshots.
Okay.
And they said they were going to have, because they were free, I guess it was like a new store in the mall, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And they were going to give away the headshots, but then you automatically were entered into this kind of contest. And they were going to send the headshot to a New York City agent. And the agent was going to choose who they wanted to meet with, the winner. No joke.
So crazy.
Sure enough, I won the picture contest. And then we got this opportunity. Mom had to like go to New York and meet with an agent.
Wow.
So after school, she was like, "Okay, we're gonna have to do it." So I was like, "We're gonna do it." And Matt was with us because
Yeah,
Matt was like
I was
a year and a half.
You know, kind of just went along with
Yeah,
it.
he was like a year and a half old.
Joey
When he was in the
on the
stroller,
ride.
he was still breastfeeding. I was only barely 5.
Still
Still
breastfeeding.
Still breastfeeding.
Still breastfeeding.
Yeah.
Still
totally.
breastfeeding. Anyway, we went on the train, went to New York, went up to this agency. My mom had never been there before. We got off the train and she got robbed. She had a little gold. My mom dressed up because she didn't know about New York, and New York before New York it was great.
Well, now it's kind
And
of
now it's back the way it was in the 80s. But
Right.
it
Yeah.
got good there for a while. You
Yeah,
know?
it got safe.
It was really safe for a while. Hopefully it'll be safe again. But and she had a gold brooch on her with Matt and I little charms. We get off I'll never forget it. That I remember. They ripped it off. My mom's only 5 feet.
Yeah.
They ripped it off,
Yeah.
picked her up and threw her in a trash can right in front of me.
Yeah.
That was our introduction to New York City. And you'd think my mom at that point would go,
You're
"We're
like,
out of
I
here."
can't wait to get an agent.
Right, my
This
mom
town
was like,
is
"We're
the
out of here."
best.
But my mom was such a baller. She was like, "I'm not going to be deterred." So, because I was really excited about it, you know?
Yeah.
So it wasn't my mom, it was me. I was like, I want to
Wait,
do
and
it.
how old were you at this point?
5.
You were 5.
Just 5. And so then we went in, they gave me
Mom
some
says
sides.
you tried to chase.
I tried to chase him down the street.
The vigilantes down.
I did. My mom screamed out,
That's
"You're not going to do
awesome.
that to my mom," you know?
Right.
So,
Yeah.
saving lives even then.
Yeah,
and,
absolutely.
No, and then we get the agency, and I didn't look. I was still learning how to like read, right? So I really couldn't like read like more than like the spot books and these kind of things.
Right.
And they gave us this monologue for a Cracker Jack commercial.
Okay.
And I remember my mom was like, and then Adrian was like, let's see what he could do with this. And Mom was like, he can't read. He can't read this like this. He just can't read it. He was like, well, go out, teach it to him, let him come back in. And my mom just told me, she was like, I was dying because I was like, I mean, memorize this? Like, you've never done anything like this.
Right.
And it was this big speech. And literally, my mom said, I would read it to you, and you could recite it back, and within 10 minutes, you memorize the entire thing. So I went in there and I did it, and they were like, perfect. So they sent me out. 2 days later, we'd go back to New York for a cattle call. And, you know, back then, you'd go up to these
Oh, my gosh.
nasty old office buildings in an elevator for 3 hours. They Polaroided you.
Yeah.
They attached it to your resume, which I had none, to your headshot, which I had from the picture contest, and they put it on the wall. There was over 1,000 kids.
Yeah, usually.
I went on a cattle call when I was young for the movie Pippi Longstocking.
Okay.
Like remaking that. And I remember it was like thousands of people in line. I was like, I don't know if this is what I want to do.
Dude, it was a racket. So anyway, I got the commercial, right?
Okay.
So
so you got the first thing you auditioned for?
Right, the Cracker Jack commercial, which is this national spot. It was a national commercial.
That's crazy.
And then I got 50 more that year.
Joe was the national commercial king.
Commercial king.
So I did this. So the same thing kind of happened to me, but I went for about a year not booking stuff.
Okay.
Because I didn't get it. Like there's like, you've got to do the right tricks and the right things to wow the room. And I just didn't have it. That just wasn't a part of my mentality. Like it came about for me in a completely different way. Like I was going to a elementary school on the USC campus. I did a couple student
on the
films.
USC campus?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, across from the Shrine Auditorium. They have this like little chain link thing over there.
Wow.
So I did a couple graduate films, and then I ended up getting an agent. I did the same thing. I had to read like a Smucker's commercial and a scene from like a Little House on the Prairie for the agent to, to even bring me on board.
Yeah, they audition you for that. So that's what happened. And then we got on a roll because I was on TV a lot, like with big commercials, like Tylenol and Coca-Cola, Tonka trucks, and all these big Kool-Aid, these big spots. So then the Tonight Show, because I was like the little kid, like one of those little kids, and sort of like the Mikey cereal dude, kind of, not as big as that, but kind of. And then they called me out to audition because Johnny was always having like little kids on. Yeah. But I had to audition for the Tonight Show. And by that point, it was about.
What do you like? You had to have material, like
it was like. Well, they asked me, and what I had been tapping because I love Donnie and Marie. So my mom had me tapping since I was 3, and I was singing and tapping. That's what I did before I went in and auditioned.
Okay.
So my mom said basically like, well, he can sing and dance. They were like, great, he'll do that for Johnny then. So I sang and danced on his desk in his room, in his office at NBC.
Really?
Yep. And they booked me the following Friday. And then I came out there and I was.
Did you say it was a cool? Not to interrupt. You always said it was a cool story when it was carpet and you couldn't tap, so they cleared off the desk and they put them on top of it.
I had my boombox with "Give My Regards to Broadway" on there, and I had my tap shoes on. And they were like, "What are you going to do?" I'm going to tap. And like, all right. And I told them it was shag carpet. I said, I can't do it. It was the 80s, 81.
Right.
I was like, I can't
Everything
do it.
was shag in
Everything
81.
was shag.
Right.
So Johnny had this huge desk.
How it's back?
Yeah, it's back, baby.
Johnny had this huge desk. They literally cleared it off. They were all smoking in there, by the way.
Yeah.
Cleared it off, put me up there. And they hit play, and I sang and danced
right in front
on
of
his
Johnny,
desk.
on his
Ed
desk.
DeCordovan and Johnny, who's that producer. And then they booked me the following Friday,
Just
and then
Chief and Stogies.
Yep.
Dance,
and then
kid,
I came
dance.
out, and then
I mean, my God, when
Wow.
I had 2 songs prepared. They said, "Look, you're probably going to do 1 song and answer a couple of questions." But Johnny was a genius, and if it was going well, he would, you could have a long time on there.
Yeah.
So they ended up giving me 15 minutes, which is, as you know, on a nighttime show is unheard of. Yeah. So I did 2 songs. They brought me back after commercial break, and I was out there, and it ended up like, on the greatest tape.
And did you have the bowl cut already?
Already, I had that.
So you started with that.
Started with that. My mom,
which was probably like
Stroke of
you were the
genius.
little redhead with the bowl cut.
I was that.
So it was like, oh, we want that. That kid looks completely different from all the rest.
Right. So anyway, and then after that, it was really great. And Joan Rivers came out after me on her knees and was like, "There's no way I could follow that kid." She was being funny.
Yeah.
And then NBC, we got home the following day, and then there was a message on our answering machines from Brandon Tartikoff at NBC, and he said, "We'd love to sign him to a deal." And they put me on and after that, I did a pilot for Sherwood Schwartz, who created Brady Bunch and Gilligan's Island, called Scamps with Bob Denver and his wife Dreama Denver. That was kind of like it was like he took in like these kids, and it was sort of like he had a daycare for these kids, him and his wife, and there was like a nosy Mrs. Kravitz, the neighbor, and Didn't go. And then they put me in another pilot, which was Ron Howard's first directing job on television, which was called Little Shots, which was basically Goonies.
Yeah.
And believe it or not, Chunk, Jeff Cohen from Goonies was in it. Soleil Moon Frye was in it.
Oh, okay.
Jenny Lewis was in it. A bunch of people. And that didn't go. And then they had just shot a pilot for a series called Gimme a Break that did get picked up, and they were they wanted to add a little kid. And then they put me on that, and that show went.
How many seasons of that show did you do?
6. Yeah.
Which were, I mean, during that time, seasons were long too. They were
27, 28 episodes.
Right, yeah. 22 was like a short order.
You got a short,
and now
right,
it's like,
right.
12, 8.
12, 8,
Yeah.
10.
Well, also, like, Gimme a Break became a top 15 show, and they were getting a 30 share. So you think about the viewers, I mean,
and then Matt, how did you get into it?
I think it was, again, I was, kind of tagging along on all these trips. And one time he goes in and they're like, you know what? He's gotten a little too big for this. And so their attention.
You're kidding.
Yeah. Like Joe's he's grown up a little too much. So they turn their eyes to me and they're like, but this one. This
little
one's
guy.
perfect.
Yeah.
And as my mom put it,
So then you were tapping. Dance, kid, dance.
well, as my mom put it though, no,
that was the opposite.
I gave them raspberries and said, I'm not doing your commercial.
Yeah.
So I blew the opportunity.
Okay.
And I think it was big. I think it was like a Gerber or something big.
Yeah.
And my mom was like, okay, well, he doesn't want to do it.
Yeah.
And it stayed like that for a minute until they wanted to add another little kid on Gimme a Break. And because it was like family and I was working with Joe, I was down. I was like, okay, this is different. This is more fun.
Right.
I'll be working with Joe as long
I'll
as
feel more comfortable
Yeah, I feel
here.
more comfortable. And then from there, it kind of just went that way. I started to do the same thing. Like that worked, so I started to do pilots and other shows and
Movies,
and it just went on from there. But I mean, Joe, paved the way for sure. I was literally like, he's aging out of things, so let's get the next one in line.
Wait, and then is that the same thing that happened with you?
Kind of, yeah.
You started aging
Kind
out
of.
of
Yeah.
We've told this story before, but
yeah.
it got to a point where Matt and I were doing very well by the time Andy was born.
Yeah.
And my mom took us out, and I'm so thankful she did. She took us completely out of the business except for like a couple of things during the summer.
Yeah.
And I went back because my mom is an educator, right?
Yeah.
Early
She's
master
English,
degree in early
right?
childhood
Yeah.
development, and she was a teacher. And she said, look, 6th, 7th, and 8th grade are vital. And Matt was going into 1st grade, and she was like, look, this is like vital, right? You were in second grade? You second grade? Wait,
Somewhere
I was
around
in
there.
6th, I was 11, you were 8, so you were in 2nd grade. Okay. And so she was like, I want these guys in school for a minute. So we went back to Philly, and I was fully immersed in 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. Didn't work during the school year, which was so cool. It was the best 3 years, literally, of my life.
And none of the kids were giving you a hard time?
No, I had known them. We were all lifers. So we were there all of elementary school.
Okay.
I stayed at Abington Friends.
Yeah, you're really it's the school that really
Yeah.
insulated him.
Right.
It's a Quaker school, so they didn't put any emphasis on that to begin with.
No.
It was very like
Yeah.
See, I was doing all like
Low-key.
performing arts schools and stuff, but
Okay.
I was like, and then I had to go to public because I was working so much, and the private schools weren't.
Okay.
But kids used to just like hound me in the hallway. I'd be at the locker, and it was gotta have my pops, and like all, and I was like,
Well,
it drove
yeah.
me insane.
I mean, a couple of the upper schoolers, I got thrown in a couple of trash cans when I got into middle school because
Okay.
I was like, but
you should've.
not my class. We were all cool because we had known each other since 1st grade, so we were like all friends. All my friends, 90% of my kids that I graduated with, were in my kindergarten. So we were lifers at Abington Friends because it went K5 through 12th, and I graduated with 90% of that class. It was amazing. All my friends it was so cool.
That's
anyway,
amazing.
So we were full immersion, and when Andy. And it was the greatest time. But when Andy was born, literally in the hospital, Brandon Tartikoff sent my mom a big bouquet of
I think
flowers.
it was Warren at that point.
Was it like, welcome to the family?
No, it was Brandon. It
Sure,
was Brandon.
it might have been
80,
Warren.
88. Warren was like 92.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was
Warren.
Brandon.
was in the
okay.
90s.
All right.
So it was Brandon, sent her a big bouquet of flowers and a manila envelope,
Yeah.
and it was a contract for Andy. Yes, it was.
Yeah.
Literally as you were born.
Yes.
Yeah.
He said, I want to sign this one
All
up
three
too.
of them.
Love Brandon. Congrats. Yes. And they did.
And how? Okay, so how have you guys stayed so
it's wild.
so
Wow,
close through all this
years.
time? Because it's fascinating. Like because I remember Brotherly Love when you guys were much younger and
Yep.
doing the show, and the fact that like you are still as tight as you are and doing the podcast and doing all of that it's amazing because that's a really difficult
Yeah.
thing to
It
do.
is.
Do you credit your mom with that, or is it just?
I think it's our family was very tight knit. We had a rule that like family comes first. You know, they were very, even though our parents ended up getting a divorce after 30 years, but our family life growing up, it was our family, our grandparents, we were always together a lot. And it was just drilled into us that like, when you do things together as a family. So even as we got older and we brought friends, like every family vacation, we would start to bring all of our friends, but it was always with our family. And I never thought of it like, I'm too cool for my family or I don't want to be with my family.
Yeah, no,
it was
never
always like
that.
I want my family there and my best friend.
We were lucky because there's an authentic enjoyment of being together as a family unit.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really what we enjoy
really have a lot of
most.
fun. It really is.
It's really
so
much
interesting.
blessing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people don't have that,
They do
that kind of relationship. And it's tough because everybody always says, like, family is blood. And so you can, and it's like, I
know.
But then that's not true. It's like they're blood members of family where it's like, no, I'm good.
Horrible. Yeah.
Like, I'm,
No.
it's like, I wish you the absolute best. And I hope to see you in another 10 years when you get out of whatever you're in right now.
Yep.
But
no, we were really, really lucky. And we had amazing times. Our grandparents were with us.
Yeah, that was a great
best.
times.
We had an amazing 20 years there with our grandparents were with us all the time. Like we moved them out here. My grandparents moved out here after they retired, and they were with us every day. We got home from the set. Meme and Pop would have dinner on the table for us. Yeah. They would cook.
And that's what we looked forward to. It wasn't like I remember even being 19, 20, whatever. I was like, I'm not going to go to this party. I can't wait to go home and have dinner with the family.
Meme was making Meme was making her cornflakes. Her cornflake chicken.
Oh my God, I would miss that for the greatest party in the
with
world.
The cream corn,
No way.
with the cream corn. And
Oh yeah, it was the
so
best.
good, dude.
Yeah, it was the best.
So my grandparents would cook every night.
Yeah, they would.
And then every weekend, literally every weekend, we went out to dinner Friday night and saw a movie.
Yeah, it was
out dinner Saturday night
we
and
were
saw
a
a
big
movie.
movie family.
Yeah.
Big
Every
movie
weekend
family.
we did that. Yeah, man. And we did it for years.
Oh, decades, guys.
Decades.
Wow.
Decades.
Yes.
Yeah.
So there is this just bond that you can't replace.
that's so incredible.
can't-
to
Also, too,
hear.
you know when you're like, it's hard when you start young in the business as it is. Like you were saying, I experienced that in school. Kids looked at me like I was Mickey Mouse because we had started to come out here a lot. So I had to enter in a school out here. Oh my gosh.
Forget
It was
it.
different for
Forget
you
it,
guys.
man. It was a nightmare.
They ended up going to a school out here. I was able to stay in my school. In
I was
Philly.
literally like a cartoon.
boy.
Right.
Kid.
Right.
No, they didn't
Oh,
relate
there
to me.
he is. Yeah, you gonna dance for us?
Totally. They didn't relate to me. I didn't relate to them, and that's totally fine, But so but we just were really we were really blessed in that way. That as a family, it was just we just really enjoyed each other's company.
We did, and we still do, and honestly, like it's really meaningful. We just took a trip together as a family for the first time in a while, and it was great. Took my two older daughters and my mom, and it was great, man. We had a really great time.
Was there ever anyone in your family that did what you guys do? That was in entertainment?
No.
Was a singer? Was a dancer?
We had
was
some
an
singers. We had
actor?
some singers. Both of our parents are great singers.
Okay.
Yeah.
Our grandfather,
grandfather
on my dad's side,
was a singer.
had like a record out and back in the
So are
50s,
all three of
50s.
you singers?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
we are.
Yep, we are. We are.
That's so amazing.
I know. We are.
No, because being on the show, like hearing you guys like banter and like sing songs, and I was just in awe of like, oh my God,
We
I'm
released
surrounded by
a couple
three
of singles. We have a
full
couple of songs
entertainers.
out there, and people have been telling us to do more. So we're going to do it.
So I only remember a video
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
playing touch football on a beach.
Yes.
With the
Oh, yeah.
leather jacket and the ripped jeans and the whole thing.
course.
And I was like, man, he makes touch football look so attractive.
Well, I don't like to get the head injuries,
Touch
so
football, yeah.
You remember that? That's what it was. Yeah,
That was running
that
around
was
out there.
that was my first record. That was
Was it
Nothing My Love
Venice
Can't
Beach?
Fix.
It was in
Shot that on
Venice.
Venice Beach. Do you know who
Yeah.
directed that video? Scott Calvert directed that video. Who directed Basketball Diaries?
Yeah.
That's who directed that video.
Yep.
Yeah, and that was Nothing My Love Can't Fix. That
That's
record.
how isn't that how he knew Mark
Yes,
Wahlberg
yes.
and how Mark was in the movie? Because then he directed the music videos for him, right?
he directed the music videos.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Exactly. So MCA Records put together a really good team for me for that first record, and I wrote all those songs, and then the
You
record,
did?
I did, and the record did really, really well, and then just classic stuff, a lot of stuff stolen, a lot of stuff taken, and and then it came time for the second record, and
We were talking
It was
about
a
it too.
nightmare.
Like
Yeah.
it's way more difficult for an actor to be known within the music
Yeah,
industry
very much so.
than for a musician to be known in
very much,
the entertainment
very much.
industry.
And I had everything that you could have happen like on the business side. It was very incestual. The people were managing and also representing the competition, and
Well,
it was horrible.
You know what's funny? I had a conversation with the lady I'm dating right now, who obviously is in the music industry and has been in it for a long time, and she was like, "No, I was telling your story. And she was
Yeah.
like, oh, no, that was standard. That happened to them.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Everybody.
Literally.
Everybody.
That was, they basically would just pre-sell everything.
Right.
And then let the artist come and try to come back for it. And if they win something, great. It'll be pennies to what it actually would have. They would have been paid anyway.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's kind of the way the music industry and the way the record labels worked. It was like,
brutal.
until they sue us, we'll just take everything and see how it goes.
Well, and then in my opinion, they recently they just given away. I mean, music today is so different. You know, I know it's all about touring now because you basically
You don't make anything for the
You basically
Slay
make
was
these songs.
talking about he has songs that have like 1 billion plays.
They're not
and
worth
he
anything.
sees pennies.
Yeah,
Like, it doesn't ever.
It is actually it's really sad because to me, I think it's the biggest mistake ever because the music is actually the art. What you create is actually the property.
Right.
It should not be your performance. That should be a
Right.
celebration of the property.
Right.
But today, you make your money off the T-shirt
Right.
and off the actual seat that people sit in to watch you.
Right.
That's it. You don't
Yeah.
make money off the actual product that you create.
Right.
It's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. And that's why it was really special because you used to wait 4 years for a Michael Jackson record. You used to wait 4 years for a Madonna record or
Right.
big record, Stevie Wonder,
Right.
Prince. They literally diarrhea
drop
songs out.
as you're
true.
finishing. Like
Yeah,
you get to
you're done. You're like,
song-
wait, another Ed Sheeran
song
song? You just
10.
released 10 songs.
Right.
I got another one, everybody. You know, it's like,
Right.
oh my God, another song.
Wait, was that your Ed
I don't know what
Sheeran
that is, but he's like, he just plays everywhere and releases songs. It's just
Yeah.
a plethora of songs, and then he remixes his own
No
songs.
offense to Ed Sheeran.
No, I love
It's
Ed
great.
Sheeran, but
but
Ed Sheeran has remixes of Ed Sheeran songs before the Ed Sheeran song is even dropped.
Right.
I remixed it, everybody. You know, like
Right.
what song? The one I just released is like already the
Again,
remix.
Ed, I'm sorry.
No, I love Ed, but it's
we're
just-
all fans of you in this
We
room.
are. No, I love everybody. I'm a lover, Brian. I love everybody, but I just he just is one in particular where so many songs.
Yeah.
And the thing is, like,
he took some time off.
couple.
I think he realized it.
I think so.
And he
But it was for a period there. It was like, wow, dude. Like,
Yeah.
and to me,
it's
I
tough
would always feel
because it's
bad.
Like now,
I would always just feel bad.
Now
like, so many
artists are
songs.
releasing. It seems like they're releasing stuff back to back to back because then they set up these tours
exactly right.
Yeah.
that are multi-year and they want to have enough material to have a
That's the
3-hour
only
show.
way to
Tour,
do
yeah.
it is
Yep.
because it's
That's how
about
they're gonna
content.
make-
They
right.
actually, what's so sad is nothing to do against Ed, but they've turned musicians into content war creators now. Like you have to, it's like the streamers.
Right.
You know, they say the most clicked on thing on all the streamers are created like websites, right? So that when you go on these websites, the algorithm shows that the most clicked on thing is new arrivals, right? Or just landed or whatever site you're on. The streamers do the same thing. So it's a content war.
It is a
'Cause they
content
click
war.
on, you click on recently added. That's what most people go to first. Because let's face it, there's too many damn things.
Right.
I mean, I've spent whole evenings trying to find something to watch.
it's so
Not
funny
that there
you say
isn't
that.
anything to watch. I just can't decide.
No,
I'm like,
it's so
I have an
funny.
app for that. I'll tell
Do
you.
you
that.
really?
I do,
I need
yeah.
this because I usually now I fall asleep finding something on Amazon or Netflix.
I want to watch this. I want to watch this. Let me watch the trailer. Yeah, that sounds pretty good. I'll go to the, let me check Amazon, see what's new on there. Oh my God.
I know.
So just quickly, I have a partner. We have an app called Movieac, and it's literally for that. We have
genius.
We have
I love
all
it.
the info. It's a social media thing, so it's for people that love entertainment, that love film, that
smart.
love television.
Smart.
But you can go on, you create a profile. We have these like rooms that you can kind of sit in and talk with like-minded people about your love of whatever content is there. But then we also have available everywhere you can view something.
Nice.
And then it also, there's AI involved in it. So you kind of create your front page and you put your favorite within genres, your top 5 favorite horrors, your top 5 favorite this. And then it starts giving you suggestions.
Right.
Then when you follow people, they have their pages.
Got it.
And then you can see like, hey, which movies did they like that I haven't seen? And so
Interesting.
you can narrow down your search.
That's all,
really
and that's
fast.
another thing too. Is that like, trying to find something to watch. Season 1 and 2 of Yellowstone is over on Paramount. Season
Forget
2
it.
and 3 is on Amazon.
Right.
Why is it not all 5 seasons on
Yeah.
one damn? What
Right.
is this?
Yeah.
Well, I
Fluidity.
don't know how the NFL still gets away with
my
having
God.
the games the way they do.
Thursday
you
night
can buy
only
the
on a-
Sunday ticket, but then you got to go to Amazon. How about
Why
this?
don't they just have one-
Just sell the games.
I know.
$2.99 per game.
I know.
We can watch them wherever the heck, whenever we want.
You should be able to go in and just click the games you
Yeah,
want
it's
for the
really
weekend.
true.
Absolutely.
It's really
It's
true.
ridiculous.
I know.
Stop with all this stuff.
My brothers
it's so
are very
frustrating.
passionate.
It's going that
Very
way.
passionate
Well,
about it.
it is.
I get it. It's,
Yeah,
it's a
I
whole
get it,
sports
yeah.
thing that
I know.
I don't.
It's
I
ridiculous.
I love that.
It's really weird. It's really
It's
weird.
it's
Yeah,
absurd.
it is.
You should be able to pick your games.
Yes.
End of story.
I know. I know. You should be. The Thursday night on Amazon is weird.
It's really wild.
It is
man.
weird,
It's
yeah.
really
Wait,
wild.
so how does it exist now?
Well, now, first of all, it used to be not too long ago, 3 years ago. We had the
Forget it.
last
You
of
want
the
some drink?
of the old school,
What's
which was
that bottle down there?
DirecTV.
Is that bourbon?
DirecTV offered the NFL package.
Okay.
And on
Right.
DirecTV, you go on there and you
They had a
had
monopoly.
Every game.
Yeah,
Right,
you get every one.
Monopoly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Except, wait, no, there was. That's not true. They had like buyouts.
Some of the local games.
Yeah, some
The
of the stuff were-
blackouts for certain local channels, but
Right.
you would also, but you'd have
But
those
you'd have
games.
those
Yeah.
local channels.
So if
right.
So I remember the same thing with the NBA. It was
There you
like
go.
I could watch everything, but then Sportsnet in Los Angeles had the Laker games, so I
they
had to go onto their
exactly
channel to watch.
Exactly.
Right,
Believe it or
right,
not, I still have DirecTV because I still have it on one TV. I still have it on one TV, so I can watch the Laker games because you have to have Sportsnet. And for instance, YouTube television doesn't have Sportsnet.
Right.
You cannot get it on YouTube.
Why don't there's a streaming DirecTV service now.
There is.
So
it's called
DirecTV Stream. I have it.
yeah,
I have
yeah,
it.
I have
Yeah.
that on all my TVs.
Do you?
because
I
it's-
haven't.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's nice. I can still go to all the channels.
Yeah,
and
it feels
watch
like old
TV
school television.
Yeah.
like I
It's
used
fun.
to watch television.
That's
Yeah.
why I have it. Yeah,
Yeah.
I like it.
The YouTube TV is the best.
YouTube TV is amazing.
it?
It's the
so
best.
now it's
incredible.
So the NFL package, right? What's it called? Sunday Ticket.
Yeah.
Okay.
YouTube bought them for $1 billion. They outbid DirecTV. They
Well, of
couldn't
course,
compete.
YouTube
By the way,
has
DirecTV just
the deepest
DirecTV
pockets.
and Dish are now. DirecTV and Dish are combining.
They're
Well, they're going to have
combining?
to.
They
Of
have
course.
to. Yeah.
Not
So
gonna
Kind of like
survive.
Sirius XM radio.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Remember that back in the day? Depending on which car
Which
you got,
one- which
you
one
got
do
either
you
Sirius
get?
or XM.
Yeah.
And XM was like, you got that and you were like, ugh.
I know.
I wanted Sirius. Dang it.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you bought the Benzo, you got Sirius. If you bought the Ford, you're like, what?
Yeah.
Just got Sirius? XM.
XM. Oh, you're kidding me.
How many free months? Six. That's it. I just
Remember
got 2 years of
the
Sirius.
thing between Blu-ray and HD? Of
course.
Oh, yeah.
It was like the competition was
Oh, I know.
just
No,
so... it
all
was-
the Blu-ray DVDs. You just upgraded
Oh, yeah,
to all the
yeah.
HD DVDs, and then it was Bluray. Oh, you don't have the Bluray? Oh, the quality is. You don't have Titanic and
So you
Blu-ray.
know- you know what
You might
I-
not even. It's not even worth watching.
You know what I heard that's really fascinating is the thing that decided VHS over Betamax.
Me and Pop had
Blu-ray-
Beta.
Blu-ray over HD was porn.
Really?
Yeah.
What? Wow.
Whichever one porn went with.
Oh, my
That was
gosh.
that was the seller. That
Well,
asked
you
it.
want to hear something crazy? Do you know that the new one, is it OnlyFans?
Yeah.
Okay. They're outpacing all of the athletes and all of our professional sports earnings combined. So now you understand the power of porn, is what I'm saying.
It's unbelievable.
It's unreal.
Yeah.
You think it's this underground, like nobody really watches? No. It's like it's the
It's
biggest.
so mainstream.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Isn't that wild?
That is wild.
Yeah,
Like Divx, I remember. I think Spielberg was a part of like the. So it was this whole concept where like
Spielberg got into porn?
no. So Divx was
Indy.
right. Totally. Is that a dinosaur in the background? So Divx was during VHS. So it was this. You had these two different concepts, and the idea with Divx was, you would wait. Was it VHS? It might have been. Possibly. This story might be I'm 51.
It's okay.
We'll settle on that.
It's okay.
So it was this whole thing where like you would, instead of purchasing a movie, you would get like 5 views of something. And so the Divx ran through your television line or your phone line. So it knew like if you viewed something 5 times, it basically would self-destruct. And then, but instead of buying the entire thing and owning it for life, and you never watch usually films more than 5 times.
It's true.
But that didn't make it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
All right. So
I might have just made that up, but it sounds.
You know what? I love it.
Or somebody.
Well, it's like that in
Totally challenging
it used to
without
be
that
that,
fact
it used to be
check
that way in hotels on the menus, right? When you like bought a movie, you'd have a certain amount of time or a certain amount of
You'd have,
views.
yeah, like 48 hours or something.
Yeah, or like 2 views.
Oh, you're right, or like 5
You
times
still have that
more.
on Amazon. You rent something on
Oh, that's
Amazon.
right, that's right.
Yeah.
They give you 2 days.
That's right. That's
Why?
right.
Yeah.
What's it bother to you if it lives up there for another 4 days?
There are
what if I need
there
more
are other
time to
ones
finish
that
watching
give
it?
you like when you get to the end, then it knows that you've gotten to the last frame, and then it's done.
Oh, it's terrible.
like,
What?
You got to
so
stop
you just
it and rewind.
right. You get to the very end. It's like you
Yeah.
run it all the way back. You better watch it again before you get to the
Wow.
end. Yeah.
Dude,
With how expensive it is, too?
it's ridiculous.
It's like $20 to rent a movie? You're
Yeah.
like, what is this?
I know.
$20?
I know. The
I'm
whole
watching
thing-
it on a screen like
Well,
this.
the reason that's weird is because it's $24 to own it, and then they
Right.
get me because I
Right.
can't. I'm
Well,
gonna
you
go
can't
with
do the math. You're
Matt's
like, wait a
weird.
minute.
He's weird. He's like, no, I'll just rent it. I'll save the $4. I'm like, dude, I can't. But you get it for eternity. Like, why for $4 more?
Because I'm not going to watch it again. Literally, a lot of these movies, I'm like, I'm not going to watch this movie again. The reason why I'm seeing it here right now is because I didn't want to go pay to see it in the theater.
I know.
So
I know.
I have a couple films though that are like I can go back and watch them as many times.
Oh, there are for sure.
Man on Fire is one of those
Great
for me.
movie.
Like
Amazing.
Man on
literally,
Fire? That's so funny. All right,
whenever I walk into
Denzel.
a room
No, I know
and
that
it's on
movie.
the screen, that I don't care what
didn't mean
point
that
the
so
movie
funny.
is
I know it's
on.
not a comedy.
I stop like a kid in front of the TV and I just stand there and stare at it and watch the rest of it.
Casino is one of those for me.
Casino is?
Dude.
Casino.
That's why you're my little brother. I love that
Casino.
movie so
Casino, I
much.
love,
Oh my
dude.
God! When
So
that
good.
knife breaks, when she
Yeah,
goes into the door,
Casino- Casino, Pulp Fiction, and the
By
Red,
the way,
and the
Pulp-
Red Dragon for some reason.
Andy
Andy
was
was
Red
Red
Dragon. He's been
Dragon.
on the Red
I
Dragon.
love the Red Dragon.
He's been really watching it a lot.
I don't know. Yeah.
Will Ferrell's car in Old School?
No.
The Red Dragon. Frank.
No.
He's working on the Red Dragon, baby.
I love the Red Dragon.
That was the greatest scene ever.
People are that way with Mrs. Doubtfire.
Oh,
Yes, they
yeah.
are.
It's
Yes, they
like
are.
it's
Yeah.
and I mean you had the opportunity to work with Robin Williams, who is like he's gonna
The best.
go down as one of the best.
Yeah.
He is.
Yeah.
And the best at what he did. I mean, he
no
was
doubt.
so
No doubt.
that dude was unbelievable.
Beyond
Yeah, he
top.
was
Do
unbelievable.
you remember a lot of that experience, or because of your age, were you kind of like it was like a job? Like, did you know who Robin Williams was before you booked that and you were doing it?
Yeah, but I was a kid in the industry, so celebrities didn't get me all flustered. Scientists did. I was really into nature, so like the Stouffer brothers. If I had met those guys, I was like, oh,
That was a huge Wild America.
Yeah,
Remember?
which was this Wild America.
Wild America.
Yeah,
Marty Stouffer.
So
and his-
those guys were like when I was like, oh, or
If he had seen Bob Ross, he would have screamed.
Really?
Yeah, that's true.
He made me watch Bob Ross.
That's true. I like that.
And then
kind
like
of
we're gonna
stuff.
paint trees together.
Yeah.
Happy little trees.
Yeah.
Yeah, Attenborough, guys like those. Really, I was like, but
Yeah.
so the actors not so much. But I mean, I was 12 years old, so yeah, I remember every moment, and it was incredibly impactful. The whole experience, even down to the crew, because they had just finished Jurassic Park. So they were Steven Spielberg's crew,
Interesting.
and I was. I mean,
Wait,
I'm a
was
huge.
Steven Spielberg a part of Mrs. Doubtfire?
Well, Chris Columbus. I mean, he basically Spielberg kind of
Shepherded him.
took him under his wing. So that was
Okay.
his crew. It was all his crew.
Okay.
So Steven did come down to the set.
It was the whole Richard Donner, Chris Columbus thing. Chris Columbus wrote Goonies, right?
Yeah.
So Richard Donner directed Goonies. Steven Spielberg produced Goonies. So Richard,
He also
Got
what
it.
was the crazy little things?
Gremlins. Yeah.
Yeah. So and that all started that. That was Spielberg and
Joe Chris
Joe
and-
Dante directed that
Yeah,
movie.
yeah.
I worked with Joe Dante.
So
Yeah, what'd you tell me?
they were. That was like a crew. That was
Yeah.
like a crew of guys. So he came down. He was at the premiere of it. But they took me because they know I loved animals and reptiles. So they took me to the premiere of Jurassic Park with everybody. That was like one of the greatest experiences of my life. I'm
it's so
sitting there with
badass.
like the cast and the crew, and I was on my feet for half the movie, and I'm sure they were all looking at me like I was crazy. But
so
that was like
crazy.
one of the best movie experiences of my life.
I loved that movie. I remember sitting in the
Oh
theater,
my
and at the
gosh.
point when the T-Rex ate the dude
my
off the
God.
toilet, I was like, "This is one of the greatest movies
of
ever
all
made."
time, yeah.
Totally.
Like
It
because
really
I
is.
wasn't I was expecting it to be more of a lighthearted thing,
Yeah.
not a creature film,
Dude,
not
it
from
was
Steven
so
Spielberg. Like
freaking
that
good.
just
so
is not.
badass.
But then Jaws, like it makes total sense.
Totally.
I just didn't.
Yeah.
It was so
their
badass.
marketing was brilliant because it was so. It seemed like a Cracker Jack box kind of thing.
so
Like yeah,
good.
you had little squeaky dinosaurs and it'd be
did.
the fun ones and
Yeah.
they'd all be like wrestling with them and having like tickling, giggling
it was-
contests.
It was
They
almost
didn't.
part of the culture of the movie, the marketing. Like they marketed the way Jurassic Park was marketed within the
It's
film.
true. Exactly. That's a
And
good point.
which was so clever and so
Yeah.
smart because that is how
It was almost meta
you
in
reel
a
them
sense,
in. You, like,
before
reel
meta
them
really
in.
became
You know
a
what's
thing.
interesting too?
You're
I
right.
think
It was
somewhere in
meta
my
before
head
meta.
there was the memories of E.T.
Oh, absolutely.
So it was like,
By the way, we
okay.
saw 12 times in the
Yeah.
theater
Yeah.
because of Matt. We saw 12 times.
I had a button,
Science,
like I have the
things
ET
like that.
touched me button. Did you
Oh,
guys- they
12
when you
times.
went to see it, it was like an I voted sticker.
Yeah,
But it's like it was
true.
a whole ET thing, and it was
Yeah.
just
Wow.
the marketing of that was incredible.
Oh
but
my gosh.
Jurassic Park for me, I was expecting more of that. I was expecting more
Right.
like, oh, I'm gonna fall in love with these dinosaurs, and it's gonna be such a heartwarming story. And it's like, nope,
It was
like
it was
run screaming,
so
you know,
badass.
No, it was
body
intense.
parts. Oh,
good.
it was
So
so
badass.
good.
Sam L's hand.
Oh my!
And that was the first time that CG had been used on that level.
And it never
I
looked
remember.
like that. They
No.
had never captured it like
And
that.
they show the behind the scenes all the time, and Spielberg was like really on the fence of that or doing
Versus
stop
stop
motion.
Right.
Yeah, doing
Right.
real.
No stop motion. Yeah.
And you see these stop motion
Yeah.
tests, and they were really good. Like they weren't as jerky as like you would see them before. But then when they were like, we can do this, and he saw the CG stuff, that he
took
was
over.
like, no,
Changed the
forget
industry.
Yeah, it changed the industry.
So
All
cool.
CG, let's do it.
Yeah.
It's so cool.
Yeah, he
Groundbreaking.
really did change everything.
No, it was groundbreaking. E.T. was groundbreaking back in its day. I remember Reese's Pieces. I'm
Yeah.
still obsessed with Reese's
Because
Pieces
of that
because of
movie,
E.T.
yeah.
I'm
100%.
obsessed because I love the taste of them.
I mean,
They're
no,
delicious.
Reese's
Yeah, they're
Pieces
amazing.
are delicious.
That
They're
little candy
so freaking good. They're
crust
so
around
good.
that
Yeah.
milky peanut butter.
I know.
It's pretty
Reese's
darn good.
Pieces, dude.
Yeah.
I know. I'm all obsessed with that. I know it's not great for you, but I love the Reese's peanut butter cups. I love the pumpkin ones around
yeah.
Halloween time and the Christmas trees at Christmas time.
Yeah, it's good
They're
stuff.
so
It's
good.
good stuff.
Something about peanut butter and chocolate. I don't know. Just the bomb. It's the bomb. But it really was. It was amazing.
Reese's peanut butter too is ridiculous.
It's
so good.
ridiculous.
It's the like. There's nothing peanut butter about it.
No,
That's what I
it's
love.
pure
There's
sugar,
no
but
peanut
it's
butter.
so
No,
good.
it's-
I think there's it's very little.
Yeah.
Un poquito
Totally.
amount of peanut butter in
And
there.
they have those like family size bags now that you buy. I'm in my car just like shoveling Reese's
They are,
pieces. on them, going,
If you guys
"Oh,
want to
this
send
is-
us some, you're more than welcome
This
to.
is not going to work.
Yeah,
Totally.
yeah. It was. Yeah, but didn't you also? I remember you were like, "I'm working with the guy from Aladdin. I'm working with the genie."
Oh yeah. That's
I think that was what he told me.
Yeah, that
when
was
he got
like-
the movie, he was like, "You know who I'm working with?" And was like, he's like, "I'm working with Genie." I'm like, "What?"
Wait,
Yeah.
so that was before
It came out the year before.
yeah, Aladdin and his baddie character from
Fern Gully?
Fern Gully.
Oh
Yeah,
my
that's my
gosh.
movie as a
Yeah.
kid.
Dude, Fern
Yeah.
Gully was an amazing movie.
And what he did with that
which
character.
was Spielberg, wasn't it?
Unbelievable.
Didn't
I think
he
it was,
actually
yeah.
do
I
Fern
think
Gully?
I think you're right.
Fern Gully
Yeah.
was-
Yeah,
He
so-
directed it
movie.
with Don Bluth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
brilliant.
So that
Yeah.
was like, oh wow, I was really impressed that he had done that. The voices that he had created, I was really impressed with. But he was really special. Yeah, what an amazing experience, man. He's one of the absolute greats. And I've gotten a chance to be around a lot of great comedians, a lot of great actors, and there's just something about Robin that really was different. It was like a whole nother cut above. I don't know how to explain it.
He was brilliant.
but
Oh,
the
he
way he
was-
commanded a room.
The way his mind worked.
Oh
The
my
way
gosh.
his brain worked was amazing because he was just completely present every second of every conversation he was
He was.
You know what I think it kind of was, honestly? Because of the way his life was when he was alone, which was really painful, and I got to experience that as well. He was very open with me. Now I'm thinking I was a 12-year-old kid. He really was open. It's almost like, think about if you didn't know how long you were going to live. Life was so painful that you almost lived every day like it was your last. That's kind of the way his approach was to every minute of every day. He was kind of like, I don't know how much longer I'm going to go at
That's
this.
amazing.
So when I get a chance to have the audience, which is the only time I feel kind of the pressure
That
release,
I'm home. Yeah.
I'm going to give it everything I got every second of every day because I don't know if I'm going to get tomorrow. And that was really the way he lived his life. I know we think about how can I live. He was forced with the way that his brain worked, the chemistry of his brain. He was forced to live that way.
We talk about on this show all the time. We talk about like living consciously, like really trying to be aware of everything that's happening, being the person that you want to be compared to the person that you are.
Yeah.
Because I have a bunch of bad habits from when I was younger,
Oh,
and it's like I
me
don't.
too, dude.
And I get into situations and I go, okay, let me just stop for a second. Who do I want to be in this situation?
Yes.
How do I want to handle this? How do I want to be? Because that, to me, that is like my legacy is the way people remember me. It's not going to be, oh, you were in, Mrs.
No,
Doubtfire will
no.
live forever, on streaming and online. Thank God, because it's a fucking brilliant movie and a brilliant performance by him. It's so badass.
Yep.
But like that's not that's not our legacy. That's not
what
the
you'll
memory
take
of
with
us.
you, yeah.
No, not
It's
at
the
all.
people being around you
Absolutely.
when you're on your deathbed that are going, man. I
were good.
remember one time
Yep.
and then your kids doing the same, and really just that the moral compass that you set in motion.
The way we talk about our
true.
grandparents. I mean, our grandfather did great things, but he lives on because of the way he was with us.
Yeah,
you know,
spoken
we remember-
about
and our
and
grandmother and
remembered.
everybody that passed.
Absolutely.
That's it. You
Right.
just talk about them like
Yeah, you don't
100%.
remember him for what he did professionally. You remember him for what he did with you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Those little moments. You know, and that's really what life is all about. It's the
Do you
little
think
moments.
about that with your kids now?
I do.
Too?
I do.
Yeah.
Well, and I remind him of that. I was like, you're going to remember this conversation. You're going to remember when I don't let them do stuff. You know, I'm like, trust me, you're going to remember it. I promise you're going to know I'm right.
Yeah.
You know, I know it's horrible right now. I was just talking to one of my daughters and I was telling her about a situation. We were talking through it and I was like, I know you don't like when I say these things don't sound good to you. I understand that. I was like, but remember, it's coming from the same guy who said some things that you do like, and who's remember last week when we did this and you were really happy about it, and this happened and I was able to provide this for you and we were able to do this together, and well, it's the same person. So
I like that.
It's coming from the same heart. So there's going to be things you like to hear, and there's going to be a lot of things you don't like to hear, but just remember that it's all coming from the same place.
How were your parents with apologizing?
Apologizing to each other or
No,
apologizing
to
us?
you guys. So like, I always make a point now with my kids of if I'm having a shitty
really
day
smart.
or like I'm just, my patience is gone and I just feel it coming to them afterwards. And instead of like just sweeping it under the rug and being like, oh, I feel better now, coming to them and apologizing and saying, listen, I'm sorry. I had such a shitty day. This is what happened.
Great.
I'm sure I took it out on you guys, and I just want to apologize because you guys didn't do anything wrong.
That's a brilliant point.
There's a good point.
There's a lot of parenting in today's world that I feel is not as good, but we've grown as parents, and I feel like that's a generational thing. I think you and I grew up with parents. You couldn't have faults, you had to, right?
My parents were on a pedestal,
Yeah.
and I was always like, oh man, they never
sure.
apologized, so they've never made any mistakes. So I'm a fucking...
One of the best things
I'm a
that I ever
burden.
heard that I use for my daughters a lot too, and I just learned it recently, maybe like 4 or 5 years ago. I wish I had learned it a long time ago, but is that, because I made mistakes in my life, and not so much with them, but I've made mistakes, and they've seen me do that, and it's affected them. I'm sure, same as you, right? Same as everybody. I mean, we're all fallible people. That's what we do.
Oh, man.
Right?
And seeing like the way I know I raised my 22-year-old compared to the way I'm now raising my 2-year-old.
Yeah, way different.
It's a whole different,
for sure. I know.
It's a whole different ball.
I can only imagine. I have a dog, and like thinking how my childhood dogs ate kibble. Now my real dog actually eats food.
You know
what I mean?
Yeah.
Just that true. So I can only imagine with kids. that
Yeah.
It's like,
you just grow.
Yeah.
You're just my view of
It's true.
it is
It's
completely
true.
different.
And one of the things that I heard was that, like, and I've told them this. I'm like, listen, I can give you advice. I was literally just saying this to my middle daughter like 2 days ago. I said, listen, I can give you advice about what you're going through right now, and I can tell you rules and give you rules about because I've lived this life. I've lived your life, so I know, right? I know. But I make mistakes because I haven't lived this life. So this is my first day at 48, at this moment, on this day. So I'm going to make mistakes.
Right.
But the reason why I can give you advice about 14 is because I've lived 14.
It makes a lot of sense.
And you're always going to make mistakes.
Yeah.
You're always going to mess up. This is your first time at 51. You haven't been 51 before. You don't have the experience. You don't know, chemically and experientially and what those components are going to do to you at certain times. That's why you have those moments where it overwhelms you, even at 51. I get overwhelmed too, man. You're not prepared for life you haven't lived. You only have preparation to share knowledge with the life that you've lived. That's what makes you a parent. But for your life, you're still making mistakes because this is your first day.
That's a tough line.
In this skin.
It's a tough line to walk because with my kids, I don't want to be the parent that is like, I've done this. This is the right way to do it, and not give them their experience of it.
Yep.
Because the experiences that I always tell people, like I've learned in life way more from my failures than from my successes.
100%.
My successes, I go, okay, I'm just going to do the same thing. Like that just worked.
Yeah.
Great. But my failures, you go back to the
Absolutely.
drawing board.
Absolutely.
And
It's
you
true.
rethink
Absolutely.
all of your stuff. And I want to make sure that with my kids, that I don't deprive them of that experience.
It is a fine line.
It's a really fine line to walk. Yeah, raising kids is a
Very.
I always tell people like it's
no joke.
people. It's easy to be a mother or a father,
Yeah.
but to be a parent, that's the work. Like
That's
to
the
actually
work. That's
be up
true.
in the morning and
Dude.
making sure that and doing homework and doing the things.
Only imagine. I was talking to my buddy Tim, who was like, who lives in Utah, and winter's coming, and he's like, yeah, it's going to add a whole bunch of time to driving my kids to preschool.
Yeah.
And then I'm thinking, oh my God, Tim's got to wait. My buddy's got to wake up every day.
What do you mean?
And drive his kids
Yeah.
to school, and is going to do that For 18, like, I mean, potentially, who knows
That's
how long?
parenting.
Holy cow.
Going to like
What?
the parent-teacher conferences,
Wow.
going to the after-school
Oh, my
activities, being a
goodness.
part of.
You guys.
It's, you know.
And to my
you-
parents, all
you
the
have to
parents
get
out
to
there,
a point
man,
where you
that
go,
is-
okay, I lived my life when I was younger and I did all the stuff. So now it's not. Now it's my time to make sure that they have those same experiences. And now I make new ones that don't cut into the time of that. Like it's a juggling.
It is a juggling act.
It's a
Lot of
juggling act.
I
responsibility,
still,
man,
even for Libby,
for
I
life.
prep at night. I get her lunch ready.
You have two
I have-
girls, right?
I have three girls.
Three
but-
girls.
Yep. Charlie's in
How
college.
was it?
So
How was it going from 2 to 3 for you?
it was very interesting because of the time gap between them. So it was wow.
Well, but then also as parenting, like I found, okay, now I'm going from man to man to zone defense,
Yes,
so it's a
very
totally different way
it's
of parenting. It's like,
It's way
okay, I'm
different.
going to cover this half of the room, you
Yeah.
cover that
Yep.
half.
Yep.
And like you will just make
Yeah.
sure that they don't
different.
kill
Yeah.
each other.
It's-
and if they're in the middle, it's fair game. They're just going to do
Yeah.
what they're,
No, it's
if they're
very
going to
different.
start a bonfire, they're way too far away from me. And I,
It's very different. It's very different. But I still prep Libby's lunch, and I still get it ready. And at night, you do all the prep, and you get the lunch ready, and you get I get her water bottle ready for the next day, and her snack bag, and I prep, and I'm still doing that. We went back when they were kids. Their mom and I, we would get the Tupperwares ready and chop up all the fruit and do the thing,
Dude,
all that
I
stuff.
remember my
every
yeah,
night,
my
every night.
school
So,
lunch is prepared.
Charlie
for
now
by
is in
my-
college, so I just
So you're like,
I hound
still
her.
suggest you wear this shirt because
Yeah.
I think it looks the best with the pants. But
I
it's up
always
to
say,
you.
I was like, gonna wear.
You're
You gonna wear
grown.
some? I was like, you gonna
So,
wear some clothes today?
You can
or-
make a different choice if you want. It might not be the right one, but
That's what I said. You gonna wear clothes today, or is that the outfit
Right.
you're going out in?
That just doesn't. Those colors don't go well together for me in my
That
with
shirt-
my eye.
You're missing just the shirt. Like, Dad, this is my shirt. It's like, that's not the shirt. That's the undershirt, right? That's when you wear undershirt. That's not actually what you go out in, right? No, it is, Dad.
know.
Yep, I get it. My girls are amazing and really beautiful. I'm a little biased, but Charlie's at college, so I track her down. I have to send her 27 texts before I get one back. Sorry, Dad, I'm so swamped. I was like, I know you're swamped. Don't forget.
I have that with my 22-year-old sometimes, but then I have to like force myself to remember
Oh, yeah.
what I was doing when I was 22.
Oh, yeah,
It's
they're
like,
just
of
living their
course
life.
he's not getting back to me.
No, they're just.
I'm like the last person on the list that he wants to respond to.
yeah,
I know.
And it's not because he doesn't love me.
No, it's just
It's literally he's doing his
He's doing his
being a
thing.
man now. He's
it.
living on his own. He's doing.
Yeah.
So it's like I have to
Yeah.
step back and go, okay, this is like
Yeah, yeah.
And that to me is the empty nest thing way more than like
Oh,
having
yeah.
the opening in the house.
No,
It's
no, no,
like,
no, no.
Oh no, okay,
No.
that is. You're not relying on me anymore. Like
Right.
you are now in your.
Right.
Wow.
And
Yeah.
it's,
No, it's awesome.
It's
Charlie is-
crazy to think.
Yeah, it is, man.
Charlie's
crazy.
crushing it at college, and I went down there and watched a football game with her the other
where's she?
weekend. USC, but
Okay,
yeah.
yeah.
And she was we had so much fun. It was so wild to see her in that element, and just
it
like,
is. I know.
wow.
I
And
know.
she's like, it's like follow me, Dad. I'll walk you in, and
I
I'm
know.
following her, and it's great. We went out to breakfast, and she wanted to drive, and it's like, this is wild.
It is really
yeah, she's a
cool,
full fledged
My 22-year-old, I bought him a car,
Yeah.
and he still doesn't have his license.
What?
No.
I know. To me, I
What?
turned
Is he in-
16.
where is he
dude,
living?
yeah.
He lives in LA.
Oh, that's like
cut
maybe
from
New
one
York.
thread.
I turned 16
Oh
and
my
I was
God.
like
Oh my
license
God.
driving
Yeah.
the
Oh my
year.
God.
Of course.
Gone.
I'm
I
out.
bought a house at 17.
I'm out.
I was
I
like,
know.
see ya.
No, I know.
He still, because of Uber and Lyft and all of that being
Oh,
available,
my goodness.
he's like, what? Like, I don't trust myself enough to drive. And it's like, you have a car sitting
Yeah.
in the driveway that I bought you.
Wow.
What? It's crazy.
It is.
So I just finally had to send him a text, and I was like, maybe you consider selling the car. Like, this
Yeah.
is what I bought
Yeah.
it for. Sell it, pocket the money.
Yeah. Wow.
Get your condo or
Doesn't
your
have to
whatever.
pay
and-
for insurance. Doesn't have to deal with the responsibility of having a drink and worrying about getting home.
Yeah.
I mean, when you
Both
think
my
about
girls
it,
picked up my love of cars, both of them, which is
Really?
interesting. Charlie and Libby love cars. And they often send me like builds that would be amazing.
Wait,
and we
didn't
talk about-
Brotherly Love? That took
was
place in
Go
an
Garage.
auto
Yeah.
shop.
Yeah.
Right?
It
Was
did.
it? I remember that.
It
Yeah.
did.
Joe,
It
yeah,
did.
You're
that
so
was-
fast in fucking
Yeah.
sleeveless shirts.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
that's right,
Bastard.
that's right. Oh man, yeah. And
Bastard.
So
I remember I was so envious. Like you've always been in such good shape. And
I
I was
tried,
like, I don't know
man.
how the fuck this dude at 12 has an
Consistency.
8-pack. Like
Yeah.
I don't know
Consistency.
how that is. It's
a lot of
unbelievable.
consistency. It's pretty difficult to do, but I
Well-
don't love it. I actually hate it. I hate working out, but I do it because it's just I don't know. I've been
part
doing
of
it too long.
life.
It's part of
Yeah.
my life. Yeah,
Yeah.
Trying
Yeah.
to hang in there.
I get it. I always say the same thing to people about like self-help and working on their shit. Like,
Yeah.
because I give people advice And then I have to like follow it up and say to him, listen, just because I'm telling you this does not mean that I in any way, shape, or form think it's easy what I'm asking you to do.
Totally.
Absolutely.
For sure.
Because it's not. It's why monks, I've said before, it's why monks live on the top of fucking mountains and talk, because they realize that's what they need to do to be as deep in it as they are.
Absolutely.
So it's like, it's not, and working out is the same. We had a sex specialist
Okay.
on that was talking about scheduling intimate time with your partner. And my head first went to, well, that's not sexy. Like, how do you, what if you're not in the mood? Like how,
I know.
But like, it's the same thing with scheduling going to the gym and doing
Absolutely.
it. You don't fucking like it until you do it. And then it like you get pulled into it and then you're done with it and you go, I'm so
Fantastic.
glad I did
Yeah,
that.
every time.
Well, so to take
Every
like,
time.
you know, even if it's just like one night a week.
Every time, really, Ed?
Yeah, every time I go to the gym, I hate it. But then I get there, I'm like, this is great.
That's what I was referring to.
Oh, what?
Every time I schedule it, I'm so happy.
Yes, anytime.
Every time.
But it's the same thing, I think, with like self-help and like it's a conscious choice.
Your workout, and I tell people all the time, even if it's 45 minutes, because you don't need a lot more than that. All this, I love all
Even
these
20
videos that are
minutes
out there.
if I'm
Yeah,
lucky.
I love all these videos that are out there.
How many
especially,
days a week do you work out?
Especially the guys.
Honestly, even if it's only like some push-ups, like even if I just drop down and do 50 and then take a break at 50, 100 push-ups total.
Yeah.
I have to do something every day.
Every
like
day.
the fact I haven't done
So
that
you know
even
who
today,
got me
I'm
into
like,
that is fucking Tony, who I know you guys, Tony Horton, who I know
yes.
you guys are good friends
every
with.
Yeah.
every day.
Because of him, I went and bought an actual calendar.
There you go.
And I do the red X's on every day
Yep.
because he was like, you know, that calendar holds you accountable.
It does.
true.
It does.
I never finished P90X. Like we had him on. I was like, I couldn't do it. Like I just backed out when I was younger. And I kick myself to this day. Randy did it. I was like, fuck you for saying that.
Yep.
Because you're bragging about it. Even though he was like, I'm not bragging. I was like, you're bragging.
You're
It's
bragging.
like, it's a
well, it
humble
is a
brag.
feat to finish.
Come
that.
on a Sunday, man.
It's a,
Oh yeah.
Come on a Sunday.
Brutal. Oh, you can go do ninja with Andy over there at Tony's.
I go
house
every
on
Sunday.
It's pretty
do
intense.
you really?
I go every day to his house. She can't shake me. I go 6 days a week to his house.
Well, it's pretty.
But
it's
any
pretty-
Sunday you wanna go.
It's pretty great because
Like,
it
it's
takes
an
the
open-
emphasis.
Wait, he has a place here?
Yeah.
Tony Horton, I work out with him every day.
So when he was on the podcast, he zoomed in and it was from his place
Jackson
in
Hole.
Jackson Hole.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
He got a place there too.
He's got places
He had
everywhere.
a full
It's Tony
beard. He was
Horton.
like, look at the windows, and how pretty it is
Yeah, I know.
outside.
Yeah, I
And I was
know.
like, you know,
I
in my
know.
living
Mountain
room.
man.
Dude, I
No,
know.
he'll text me like, "Look, guys, there's a moose in
Yeah,
the
we
front
always
yard."
get moose
I'm like,
and
"Ah,
bears
there it
and
is, yeah."
deers and
How did that relationship come about?
our podcast?
Our podcast.
And I was such a big fan because we all did P90X and Joe introduced us to
It's true, yeah.
The
we used to go over
persona, Tony
to
Horton.
Joe's,
Yeah.
and he would put on P90X,
Yeah,
and
we
we'd
would do it.
work out together as
Yeah.
the three of us and watch do P90X. That's how we used to do it.
literally, yeah.
Yep.
So he invited us to a workout, and then I went and got totally addicted.
Yep.
That's so crazy.
know.
Yes, yes. It's a luxury to have the time to do it. I would love it. I don't get it there as much
I don't
as
have
should,
kids. I
'cause
don't.
it's
You know,
like-
I can.
But
Right.
but it's amazing.
But
And
it's
Tony's
so cool.
a testament to just consistency. It's all about consistency.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, you make it part of your day, right? So to me,
Did you work out today
I
already?
did not work out today. That's
I
very
did.
rare.
Not yet.
Very rare, but I will tonight. Yeah,
I will
but,
too.
But you make it part of your day, so it isn't an add-on. It's part of your
Wait,
day.
you already worked out today,
yeah.
and you're going to do it again?
Really?
yeah.
So
Well,
you're
I
working
missed
out?
yesterday because it was a long day.
Is he showing off?
So
Is
this
this like
morning-
a humble
yeah.
brag? Like, I don't mean to brag.
Man,
I honestly,
I
man,
gotta get it.
You know, I've never been the guy. I'm not the
What?
I'm not the guy that. I'm not the guy. No, I've
You're
never,
shutting him up
yeah.
before
No,
he
I've
even
never
gets
been the
it out.
guy that like will pick up the 55-pound dumbbells and curl them barely because and grunt and how many do? What do you bench? What do you
Right.
squat?
Yeah.
That's so ridiculous. I over.
Who does that?
So every time you go into a gym or watch people, they're like, I feel that.
That sounded like you're Ed Sheeran a little
Look at that
bit.
burn. Look at that burn. No, did it really? Look at my new record. No, but it's look at the burn. It's killing me. Yeah, you drop them. You're all dramatic,
so
and then you
loud.
walk. I can't stand
Well, when
it.
you see signs
I'll
up
stand
at
it.
the gym, please don't drop.
Drop.
the
You see some of
weights.
those?
I know.
And they
you're like,
throw them.
Yes,
Who's
those
throwing these
monsters
weights
there.
around?
Yeah, I know.
I will
So-
never work out like that again.
I have a thing in my garage called an Oxfit. It's like
Is it an animal or-
all-in-one.
oh.
It is.
Okay.
I milk it every morning. It's fantastic.
My God,
my
yeah.
forearms are in the
I get a
best
little
shape
blood
of
from it.
My life.
Ox blood.
So it's an all-in-one like machine.
That's
to
cool.
Work out. And it's
Is it like a tonal type thing?
it's like it's a lot like tonal. Yeah. So it's all like computer resistance, but you can do things like you can add chains to it, so it like controls the amount of like it fluctuates the weight as you're curling or you're dropping down.
Cool.
Why the fuck was I getting into
The ox.
that?
Well, that would explain this oldish thing. 'Cause,
Right, exactly.
when you're in the middle of the store and you're like, and that's what.
Oh no! So here's what I was gonna say. This trainer that I was working out, that I was working out with on it, was talking about like don't lift with your ego.
Exactly.
Oh,
Yeah.
Lift, do lighter weight and make sure you're always doing the rep is the best you possibly.
One of my
can.
pet peeves, and I tell everybody this when we're over there, even to Tony's stuff, is like guys complaining about their injuries. You know, like, oh yeah, I slipped this disc.
Right.
This hip hasn't worked in years. I pulled that one when I'm like, guys, I've literally never had, praise God, an injury ever
Right.
working out. Ever.
You're smart about it.
But you just, because I'm not a freak. Like, I know how to do it.
You're not a
It's
fucking
actually, you go in
monkey
there,
that's
you go
like
in there
just-
with a
what I do
needle
the
and
monkey
thread.
stuff.
And if you just you can actually get tremendous results. You might not be as big, but it's not about that.
Right.
It's to me, it's about the fitness and the health benefits from that. So
Yeah, I could drop down and probably do terribly 70 push-ups and probably tweak a shoulder.
Right.
But if I did like 45, 50 really
Perfect.
like all
Get
the
a
way
great
fast
fucking
up,
pump.
down, you're like,
Yeah.
I'm done.
Yeah.
I could probably barely get
pull-ups
myself
too.
up.
Yeah.
Same thing
Pull-ups
with
too. People are like, I'll do 20, 30, 40 pull-ups. It's like,
Oh,
okay.
yeah, okay.
Right.
You
Do them right.
Right, go all the way
to do
down,
it is right.
rest at the
and then
bottom, do the
engage,
full.
and then engage. As soon as you do this, you're going to basically knock out, I would say, half of what you think you can do.
Yeah.
Because when you engage the muscle, now you're basically just pulling from the lat.
Dude,
you're
I
literally
am-
just, if you take
I'm
your
like
arms
6
out of
on
it,
my best
right.
day.
Yeah,
And that's
totally.
about right.
Yeah.
If you're actually just engaging your lat and taking your arms out of it to where your hands are almost just grips, everything else is limp from here down, it's right in there, 6 to 10, you'll be very impressive if you can do 6 to 10 and multiple sets of those.
Can you do muscle ups?
Huh?
I just did my first.
Did
I
you?
just finally got it. Yeah.
Did you really?
Yeah.
What's a muscle up?
With no band? So
Yeah,
the
no
muscle up is
support.
where you do a pull up and then you go up over the
And you
bar.
push up.
Oh.
Yeah. It's really about the kipping.
Okay, so
on your
Matt's
swing
never
forward.
done that.
No, I've never done
it's
that.
not about. Have you ever done? So a true muscle up, there's no kipping involved
have
at
to
all.
kip.
It's the same thing doing a pull up,
Right.
like going all the way down to the bottom
Right.
and doing a full like.
Yep.
I don't
They're
think
guys
I
that
I
can
don't
do them
think I
slow.
They
and
can.
It's
They can.
I need
They
some
absolutely
momentum.
can. So, that I love the results of it, and I don't love it. Actually, I don't love working out at all.
No,
I
it's
love
a
the
pain
results of
though.
it. Oh,
I
it's the
love
worst.
these fucking tangents that we're going in.
Worst.
It's 59.
Yay,
so I'm
let's
going
do
to
it.
say
We're good.
thank you to everyone that watched the
Yes,
show.
thank
Thank
you.
you guys for being. It goes so fast. The
So
same
fast.
thing happened when
I
it was
know.
over.
Yeah.
So we'll talk some more, but we'll do
You
it
good?
over on Patreon. So
All right.
it's
Yep.
bonus information.
Yo,
So
thank you.
Thanks for watching, everybody. Oh, before we actually cut out, give everybody every possible way to get in touch with you guys.
You can follow us on our
Watch the
Instagrams.
podcast,
Yeah,
yeah.
we're on
Instagram, YouTube.
Yeah, we're on @Joey Lawrence, Matthew, Andrew.
Andrew Lawrence.
On
on
Instagram.
IG.
Instagram.
On
On
IG.
Instagram, okay.
Yes,
What is the YouTube page?
was Brotherly Love Podcast.
That's right.
Subscribe, listen, check us out.
Yeah.
We
We're everywhere.
appreciate that.
And then the pod, you can listen to it everywhere.
Yeah.
You can also go to the Brotherly Love Pod on IG.
Yeah, there you
Yep.
go.
And we have
the official Brotherly Love Pod on IG is what it's
that's right.
called.
You guys are crushing, and they're crushing it. It's unbelievable.
We're doing okay, man.
You guys you're doing more than okay. But
all right.
again, it's a humble
Appreciate it.
brag.
I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it. Anyway, this has been fun,
Yeah, it's
dude.
been really fun. What else do we have? We have a Christmas movie coming out.
We do.
Do you?
Yeah.
So let's get into that on the
Okay.
Patreon.
Okay,
Thank
cool.
you for being here.
Go ahead
everyone.
over to Patreon.
Hey, if you're going through something right now, if you need additional support, then please reach out to me at randyspelling.com/help or go to my Instagram @randyspelling. Thanks.
Embrace who you are.